When I quit my full-time job to run my own business full-time in January 2025, I remember panicking as my last day inched closer and closer. I felt an overwhelming urge to get new clients and get them as quickly as I could if I was going to survive out there on my own. So I tapped into my existing network, I scored some referrals, and somehow managed to fill my books for the first 3 months of me being full-time. But then, eventually, as the end of March drew nearer and nearer, I realised I was in exactly the same position again. So again, I started to scramble around, relying on my network, asking for referrals, and something dawned on me. Until I built a scalable system for repeatedly signing new clients, I was going to be on this hamster wheel again and again and again. I'd feel icky and desperate and salesy posting content. I'd feel annoying constantly asking for referrals or tapping into my network. And then when I did find new clients, it would always end up feeling like luck. I realized that it wasn't a sustainable way to run a business, so I decided to build my own LinkedIn lead generation system so that I never had to worry about lead generation again. And in this video, I'm going to take you through it. So first of all, we're going to talk about the 2 lead gen strategies that you should not be relying on, and that is referrals and word of mouth. Don't get me wrong, these are both great ways to generate leads, and typically the leads that come to you through these strategies are super warm, right, and very easy to close. But nobody should rely on these strategies for consistency, right? They should be the icing on the cake, not the whole damn sponge. Because the thing is, referrals and word of mouth put the future of your business in the hands of other people, right? You're relying on the good graces of others to generate money for you. And another interesting strategy to talk about is inbound leads as well. Some people have created businesses that run entirely through inbound lead generation, which is great, and maybe I should learn from them too. But if you're just starting out in business or you need clients quickly, inbound leads are not a great one to rely on. It's risky, right? Because inbound lead generation relies on a lot of infrastructure that counts on a lot of time and a lot of trust in order to generate inbound leads. So if you're just starting out, it's not exactly the quickest thing you could do. And what you don't want to do is start posting a bunch of really salesy LinkedIn content, crossing your fingers and hoping somebody bites. Maybe they will and you'll get lucky, but that's the point of this video. We're building a system that does not rely on luck. So we've talked about the strategies that you shouldn't rely on. Let's talk about what you should be doing in order to sign new clients without it feeling like luck. First things first is your offer, your ideal client, and your positioning. Your offer is what you're selling, your ideal client profile or ICP is the person you're selling to, and your positioning is how you show up and differentiate in the market. Most founders and freelancers will have a general idea of their offer or a general idea of their ICP, but they might skip parts of this step, right? Which is a mistake because ultimately it lays the foundation of your entire lead gen system. Without a killer offer, an aligned ICP, and positioning that helps you stand out, your lead gen will always feel like an uphill battle and it will always feel like luck. So in my opinion, figuring out your ideal client profile or ICP needs to come first. If you're starting out with a new business or thinking about your offer again for the first time, there's no sense in building an offer that nobody wants to buy, right? So you need to figure out exactly what your ideal client is looking for. If you already have a group of people that you'd like to serve, maybe from past experience, maybe because of preference, we want to start getting granular on who they are demographically, psychographically, and also how they make decisions. Think about the previous clients you've already worked with, or the prospective clients that you dream about working with that you've connected with on LinkedIn, and make a note of who they are. Job title, industry, company size, annual revenue, that kind of thing, right? For example, maybe you like to serve coaches in the well-being space for female entrepreneurs, right? Or maybe you like to serve B2B SaaS founders working in startups, right? It can be anything that you like. So what you want to do is conduct market research with them. And ideally, these should be during calls, right? Not DMs. Ask them what burning pains they have, what their desired outcome instead is, what's holding them back, what solutions they've tried in the past to solve the burning pain. Ask them what situation they need to be in to trigger a buying decision. Maybe they've just hired, maybe they've just raised a bunch of money, right? It could be anything, but the key is to ask them. After this, you should have a pretty well-rounded view of who it is you want to serve. Next up is your offer. So using the answers you got from the market research question, start figuring out, okay, what am I selling to them and how am I delivering it? For example, let's say that you're a copywriter who wants to work with CEOs in the finance space who want social media visibility. Your offer is divided into 4 variables. And if you're familiar with Alex Hormozi and $100 million offers, you'll probably know where I'm going with this. So number 1, what desired outcome are you promising? What do they want most? Leads, weight loss, more time? Number 2, how high is their perceived likelihood of achieving that result? Basically, do they trust you that you can make this result happen? Number 3, how long until they achieve their desired result? So basically the time delay between signing up and getting the result. And number 4, how much effort do they have to put in to achieve that result? For example, is this a done for you, done with you, or a DIY offer? So let's just run with the CEO offer, for example, and give a high level view of what your offer could look like. Finance CEOs add 5,000 engaged LinkedIn followers in 60 days with done for you ghostwriting. And then for the perceived likelihood of achieving that result, you might talk about social proof and case studies, your uniquely developed algorithm busting system, or a guarantee of results. And that could look like a bunch of things, right? And we can talk about that in another video. The idea with making a killer offer is to increase the top 2 variables as much as you can. So increase that desired result, increase their perceived likelihood of achieving that result, and to decrease the bottom 2 variables as much as you can. How short can you make that time delay, and how little effort and sacrifice does your lead need to put in to achieve that result? And that's a continuous process, right? As you serve more people, as you generate more results, you can also improve your offer as a direct result of that work too. So that's your offer. And finally, we're going to talk about positioning in this section. This is about finding out how you show up in the market, right? What identity do you want your audience to associate with you and your brand? How do you translate their pains and desires on your profile, right? What differentiating factors set you apart from your competitors? What makes you uniquely qualified to solve their problem? So positioning is also about taking all of this amazing research we've done in the offer and the ICP section and populating that on your LinkedIn profile. So I primarily talk about LinkedIn, but this could also be other social media channels as well. So once you've got this foundational work done, your ICP, your offer, and your positioning, you're already 10 times closer to having predictable and stable lead flow because 1, you have clarity on what you're selling and to who. 2, they have clarity on you and why they should choose you. And 3, your LinkedIn profile, or whatever profile you choose, will be set up to build trust and attract inbound leads whilst you sleep. So the next part in having a lead flow system that doesn't feel like luck is outreach. Outreach is the most important daily action that you can take in order to book sales calls, right? I will die on this hill. So here's a whistle-stop tour on my 3-step process on how to book consistent sales calls through outreach on LinkedIn DMs. 1, reframe it. 2, get really fucking good at it. 3, do it often. That's it. So first of all, reframe it because, everybody hates outreach. Outreach in sales is about serving people and solving problems, okay? So let's reframe how icky you might feel about outreach in order to double down on this lucrative lead gen strategy, okay? So if you feel like, 1, outreach doesn't work, it does work. I've managed to quit my job and build a business signing thousands in new revenue almost entirely using LinkedIn DMs alone, okay? Good outreach always works, bad outreach doesn't work. 2, outreach makes you feel sleazy. This is a common one. Outreach is only sleazy if you're knowingly not providing value. If you can genuinely help people solve a burning problem that keeps them up at night, what is sleazy about that? Please, what is sleazy about that? 3, outreach makes you feel personally rejected. This one is tough, I'll admit it, but my advice is to try and separate yourself from the business as much as possible, which I understand is hard when you are the business in a lot of ways. Plus, if everybody said yes to you, you would have a very fucking hard time delivering to all of these people, right? I mean, I certainly would. Outreach is about getting as many aligned, perfect fit yeses as possible, not a yes from every single person you message. Okay, cool. So we've reframed outreach. So number 2 is let's get really fucking good at it. Make a targeted lead list on LinkedIn Sales Navigator and add 25 to your network every single day. Prioritize the leads who have viewed your profile, engaged with your content, or followed you. These are positive buying signals as far as LinkedIn goes, right? Break the ice with a rapport building opener so that you become familiar and relatable to them. And then initiate them into the SCORE framework to book consistent sales calls. And for a full breakdown on the SCORE framework, check out last week's video. I did a whole one on that. I'm not going to go into it here, so give that a watch if you haven't. And third to outreach is do it often, okay? And there isn't really much more I can say about this one. One of the biggest hurdles I see for signing consistent clients is consistency, ironically. Block out time in your calendar, right? Assign yourself a target number of new conversations every week and get yourself an accountability buddy, whether that's a friend, a family member, or a coach, right? Have somebody keeping you accountable. A good thing to bear in mind with outreach is if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. So for our predictable LinkedIn lead gen system, we've got our offer, ICP and positioning dialed in. We know how to conduct good outreach. The last piece of the pie is content, LinkedIn content that builds trusts and handles objections before sales calls. LinkedIn has come a long way since being a dusty CV library, and actually it's had a few iterations since being that up until today, right? So we've had the CV library, we've also had the extremely dense expertise-driven posts, but now that more and more people are using LinkedIn, it's becoming more of a saturated platform. Standing out in the market is a little bit more than just adding value and being an expert. It's also about tapping into your unique self, right? Your authentic self, your authentic intellectual property, your original ideas, all the things that make you you, and all the things that no competitor and no AI could actually replicate. I use 3 core content pillars when writing LinkedIn content. 1, expertise. Can I solve the ICP's problem? 2, evidence. Have I got proof that I've done it before? And 3, relatability. Does the ICP like me as a person? Do I feel relatable to them? And within those 3 content pillars, I ensure each piece of content is targeted at an ideal client's fear, pain, desire, objection, or limiting belief. So no piece of content feels random, right? Every single one goes out with intention, designed to attract ideal clients through strategy, not through dumb luck, right? And if you're constantly posting salesy kinds of content, right, to sweep up any of your warm leads, that's fine, but just do it sparingly, maybe monthly, right? Everyone is so fatigued with salesy driven posts that this really needs to become very much an occasional pillar of your content strategy, right? 3 content pillars: expertise, evidence, and relatability. And then if you want to do a salesy driven post, keep it to once a month at the moment, I think. So if signing clients has felt like luck up until this point, if you're heavily reliant on referrals or word of mouth, I sincerely hope that this video was helpful for you in terms of building a strategy that attracts aligned clients through strategy and intention rather than luck, right? My whole thing here is I want to empower people to take control back of their lead flow, right? Stop worrying that they're not going to be able to sign new clients next month and start worrying just about delivering the best quality service that they can for their clients. When you have a robust strategy in place that allows you to sign clients strategically and when you need to, rather than as and when they turn up and through luck, it will make running your business 10 times easier. And the best part about this system is that it's scalable, right? Once you've dialed in your offer, your ideal client, and your positioning, that already sits on your profile doing a lot of the heavy lift without you. The outreach, once you've learnt the framework, you've got an hour a day to dedicate to it, you can start booking consistent sales calls. And the content system, once you plug that into your business, you know the ICP, pains, fears, desires, objections, limiting beliefs, and you've got plenty of stories from your own life to talk about. That ticks along nicely on a weekly basis. So if you have any questions about implementing this strategy into your business, connect with me on LinkedIn, book a discovery call using the link in the description. And otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it useful, and I'll see you in the next one. See you.